Deltarune is a difficult RPG where... You know, in actuality, I don't find this game that difficult. I've only ever died to the big bosses in each chapter, so I kind of want more of a challenge. Something that requires, like, precision and skill. Introducing... completely original... Iris does their first ever difficult thing in a video game. Part 1 of 1. Yeah, so I beat Chapter 4, and I was wondering what to do in lieu of a new chapter. I saw someone trying to no-hit Chapter 3's final boss, and thought to myself, wouldn't it be, like, so cool if I did that? After a little bit more thought, I decided that I wanted to do the 4 hardest bosses so far, the secret bosses of each chapter. If you don't know what the secret bosses are, interesting decision to click on this video. But in each Deltarune chapter, there's a very difficult boss you can fight by going a little bit out of your way. They also have some lore stuff connecting the themes. I'm not really an expert on that sort of thing, though. Instead, I'll just be going through every single secret boss in order and breaking down how I tackled each attack to minimize the amount of times I lost a run to it. Additionally, these strategies are also totally applicable for anyone struggling on a casual playthrough. Turns out not getting hit helps there too. For that reason, if you're looking for help with any specific boss, I've included chapters in the video description for ease of access. Before we finally start, I need to clarify a few things though. With some of the secret bosses, you either get an offensive item for defeating them with violence, or a defensive item for defeating them with mercy. For the purposes of my run, I decided to opt for the offensive option, ending any future fights quicker. With that finally out of the way, let's get started with... I name myself Siri, because I'm evil, and we are off to the Dark World. A good thing to start out with is equipment choices. For armor, defense doesn't actually matter to us. I'll give you 3 guesses why. We want to prioritize Susie's magic as well as everyone's attack. Unfortunately, nothing in this chapter increases our magic, and the only thing that increases our attack is this iron shackle in the prison. I give that to Chris. In terms of weapons, we buy the spooky sword for Chris, the brave axe for Susie. No, actually I didn't. I must have forgotten. And the dainty scarf for Ralsei? You can get a ragger in the forest, which actually increases Ralsei's attack, but I guess I just forgot? That's weird. There are no consumable items in this chapter that could help us with this fight, so let's jam. Jevil has 3,500 HP. We typically do about 210 damage every turn. 300 damage if we have Susie use a Rude Buster and spam confirm like a degraded salesman living in a dumpster. With this, we'll ideally end the battle after about 14 of Jevil's attacks. It takes a similar amount of time to pacify Jevil. Defend at the start to gain TP, then spam Pirouette and Hypnosis whenever you can. With a really good grazing, you can pacify Jevil after just 11 attacks. Even on my casual attempt, pictured here, I managed to get him on turn 13, one ahead of our expected last turn for fighting. This means that, though they're pretty similar, pacifying is generally quicker and will require less cumulative dodging. With general strategy set out, let's get into Jevil's first attack. The 5 spades from his mouth attack. This one is pretty straightforward. He teleports to a random spot on the side of the battle box and fires a spread of spades towards you. As you may have noticed, the burst is always centered so that the middle spade directly aims at the soul. Because of this, and the fact that Jevil is only on the left or right, if we make slow movements vertically, we can cleanly weave between each burst in consistent rhythm. To keep the rhythm, I generally just move after I hear each of Jevil's sounds. This helps you not panic when he does it like this. If this isn't working out for you, try adding a little bit of horizontal movement as well, moving away from Jevil when he fires to give the spades a chance to spread out more. The spades battles are really simple. Just do this to get max TP. Okay, no. Though that is really good if you're consistent, it's not very realistic. Instead, stick very close to the middle before each roundabout. Once you can tell which way it's spiraling, make a loop around the center, going towards the outside of the spade spiral. If you really want that TP, just tighten the loop slightly so you're comfortably grazing the bullets. Depending on how close you're grazing, you'll either have to do 3 or 3 and a little of these. When you're near the end of a loop, keep an eye out for the start of the next spiral and repeat the process from there. On to attack 3. Heart bombs. Much like the first attack, these are always centered to move towards the soul. Moving vertically whenever possible helps the burst not clump up too much. Though it is tempting at first to treat these like one big hitbox, you're sometimes going to have to weave through these to avoid them all. When you do this, always weave horizontally in the opposite direction of the burst. This means that you'll be in the danger zone for much less time, and typically a good entrance also has a good exit. Figuring out when to weave and when to go around is a little harder. As a general rule of thumb, go around most of the time, but if there's no obvious route, try to weave instead. The Devil's Knife is up next, and it's actually quite easy. Move toward one of the gaps in the 4 knives, then hug the battle box as you follow the rotation. You'll move faster than the knives will, so you'll have to take a pause every now and then. Don't worry about grazing here, it's just not worth it. Beep beep, time for the carousel game! It rotates all weird. Much like my ex-husband, these guys are actually way smaller than they look, meaning there's quite a bit of leniency here. You start out with a short invulnerability period, which you should use to get between the top and middle paths. Stay between here until the middle row gets close to the top of the battle box. At that point, you need to go through the gaps in the middle row to fit into the other space. You're gonna have to repeat the swap once the middle row nears the bottom. In my experience, you swap around every 4 columns. I typically find it easier to stay closer to the left side of the carousel. This means I can stall by moving to the right if I need more time or miss my window. You've heard of heart bombs, but how about club bombs? The strategy for this attack is extremely familiar. A spread attack that's centered on the soul. Yup, it's time for vertical strats again. However, in this case, I wouldn't even worry about horizontal movement at all. The clubs have more than enough room between them to comfortably fit, and the bombs never fire as close to the battle box as Jevil likes to. You've got ample time to avoid each one. Next is diamond spam. During this attack, I generally only move horizontally. The middle has a good balance between clarity of which bullets are coming when, and slow bullet speed. If you think you're gonna get hit, you can move up to get yourself a little extra time, but generally try to stay centered. Lastly, stay away from the left and right edges. It's very easy to get pressed up against the wall. That's about it for this attack. Next, oh, it's Spade Spiral again! It is harder though. Now at the end of every loop, you're gonna have to recheck the direction the spiral is moving in. It can randomly switch each time a new spiral happens. It's disorienting at first, but it should get consistent fairly quick. Ooh, the carousel again! I like the carousel. It's no longer spinning weird, which is nice. I actually find this version to be easier than the original. Even though the columns are desynced from each other now, you just gotta switch rows more often. Keep eyes peeled for openings, and of course, the everyman! Double it! What the? Triple everyman! That can happen? I didn't know you could get 2! 3? Next, spade. Oh no, they're randomly aligned! This is definitely the attack with the most, so it can be somewhat overwhelming. Even so, the good old "I've never heard of an x-axis in my life" strategy works dreams for this attack. The only real advice I have is to stay close to the middle and hold relatively still until you can see a spade that's going to hit you. Because of how random the attack is, most of the spade bombs don't actually require you to move. Just stay calm and move away from the bombs if you really need to. Right after the most chaotic attack, we get the most precise attack. These club guns fire a burst of 3 bullets from each clover leaf. This wouldn't be so bad if the bullets fired consistently, but their angles fluctuate a little. Stay relatively close to the middle at all times. If you move to the edges, the bullets will spread out a whole lot more to try and hit you, making the attack a lot more chaotic. From what I can tell, they never fire from the same corner twice in a row. To dodge effectively, I usually end up going in little circular rotations, making sure not to stray too far from the center. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of advice I can give you for this one. It's mostly just precision and quick reaction. No rest for the weary, because now it's time for the run killer. Devil's Knife 2 takes the east attack and makes it probably the hardest one. To start, move to the gap in the top or bottom. Stay in that gap until you see the red Devil's Knife. Ideally, you'll be on the left or right side and safe when it fires. Once the spinning knives open up again, move through the middle to either the top or the bottom, matching the side the red Devil Knife was on. After that, alternate from top to bottom to top every time the knives open up. Keep in mind that the gaps aren't always going to align with the middle of the edge. You're going to have to adjust horizontally as well. Ideally, at this point you'll get to Jevil's diamond fake-out attack. But if you're not playing optimally, you'll instead be up against his diamond spit attack. For this attack, move as much as possible, while staying near the center horizontally. Every time a new Jevil pops up, move away from where he is. You shouldn't have to worry about running into already dodged diamonds, since these things move crazy fast and will be gone before you know it. If you're still not quite a diamond fake-out, you have to deal with the suit bombs. The only thing we haven't dealt with here are the diamond bombs, which are luckily the easiest to deal with. They're just really fast straight lines. Same vertical strat applies, as with all before. If you're consistently acting or dealing damage, you should never see this attack. Diamond fake-out is easy. You get lots of TP though. Then we reach Jevil's final chaos. Immediately move to the very bottom of the screen. This way, the pillars the Devil's Knives make are pretty much negligible, letting us just worry about the knives themselves. Generally, just try to move between 2 columns, switching when a knife spawns above you. This should work most of the time, unless you get a really bad pattern. Then when Jevil pops up to say, quickly move to the center and wait for these knives to fall. Then alternate between the middle and the adjacent columns, moving just a moment after the white pillar appears. Then sail on the bottom as Big Knife comes down, and you've done it. Good job. How did I do? That one's so hard, but luckily it's short. What am I doing? Okay, almost through. Don't throw! Get that TP though. Alright, come on.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I can feel I'm gonna get hit somewhere. Yep, there it is. I wasn't what I was supposed to do there. Yep. Final hit. He would have definitely died on this next turn, by the way. I would Buster too. Oh well.
Chaos. I can do anything. I can do anything. I can do anything.
That's very nice. Keep them on the left, please. Okay. Come on. Good. Good. Don't throw this time. Get just a bit of TP. So we can use a Rude Buster. Oh, okay. I didn't know you could skip the final attack if you just do enough damage. What's fun? You're fast, strong, but there are yet faster, yet stronger. The hand of the night is drifting forward. Soon, the queen returns at health to our from the depths. Right, nurse, can you stop it? Either way, a mischief, a chaos. Lightners from inside your little cell. Take me and do your strongest. Metamorphosis. That's Shadow Crystal. Devil's Knife was added to your weapons. Yay! Took long enough. For equipment in this chapter, we pick up Saber 10 from Sweet Cap and Cakes, or I should have, I don't know why I didn't. Keep the Devil's Knife for Susie, and do this teacup ride perfectly to get the Ragger 2 for Rouse. Ragger 2? I never got Ragger 1, because I don't know where it is, but we got Ragger 2. For armor, I equipped 2 Frayed Bow Ties on Chris for damage, and 2 Royal Pins on Susie for magic. Since Rouse's damage is already so low, he doesn't benefit as much from extra attack. Instead, you should give him the pink ribbon we get in the city, which makes it so you can grace without getting as close to bullets. Then he gets more TP. Instead of doing that, I just gave him 2 more Frayed Bow Ties because I'm foolish. The only consumable that's useful for my purposes is the tension bit we can get in the cyber field. It gives us a boost of 32% TP when we use it, though we actually want to hold on to this for later. Another thing I should probably note, just in case it's important for future chapters, while in the city I started what's called the Weird Route, where we forced Noelle to freeze a bunch of enemies to make her stronger. However, I aborted this at the last possible moment, just before the second Birdie fight. I don't know if this actually does anything substantial, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, Spamton has 4,809 HP. With the Devil's Knife in our possession, Brood Buster only costs 40% TP. With optimal play, we should be able to take him down after just 9 attacks. Unlike Jevil, this is much shorter than the Mercy route, which takes 12 turns to do Snap All every time and destroy Neo's heart whenever possible. The first thing to talk about involved in this fight is the obvious. We're yellow. By pressing confirm, we fire a bullet. We use this in the fight to destroy anything that's blue. There's seemingly no limit to how fast you can fire these, but there can only be a maximum of 3 on screen at any time. This means that if we get close to the targets, we can shoot faster, which could be useful. In addition to spam, we can also charge up a big shot, which pierces most obstacles and deals higher damage. We'll be using charge shots the majority of the time. There's also a slightly scummy tech we can do to spam charge shots. By holding down one confirm button, we can tap the other to fire a charge shot without losing our charge state. This is kind of hard to do, though, because I'm using most of my hands for dodging, but that's something a can of sausages can't solve. This is obviously very powerful, but it comes with the caveat of enraging Spamton, making him deal more damage. Luckily for us, we're not taking damage anyway, so we can just blast away to completely obliterate. Yeah, I decided not to use it because it also makes some attacks harder. Some bullets slightly deviate from their usual path, attacks are upgraded to their harder forms, and obstacle health is increased. It also just feels cheesy. I mean, let's look at this. It's ridiculous. Either way, I didn't really want to do it. The first attack is pretty simple. Volleys of flying heads fly in, and you have to shoot them before they shoot you. I personally found this easier with spamming, but charging works perfectly well if you time it properly. If you ever miss a head, make sure to be ready to dodge vertically when it fires a bullet. Spam mail is a lot simpler. At the start, move to the left a bit so you have more time for each wall. Then just fire single bullets at the blue heads to open each gap at the wall. Absolutely do not use charge shot for this attack. It's not good because they have the hard cross bombs behind the heads that will explode and damage you before you notice them. When you get to the big tunnel of heads, you can tunnel through only one row, but it's much easier to sit in the middle and shoot away all of them. This attack is probably the easiest and shouldn't give you much trouble. Attack 3, Heart Attack, is more complicated. We could simply survive, but we can also shoot its heart until it dies, which, interestingly, contributes to mercy percent. Shooting the heart makes the attack end quicker, and the entire fight end quicker if you're trying to spare him. So, how should we go about this? Even with as much spamming as I could, charge shots were just much faster at taking it down, so fire off those whenever you can. As for the bullets themselves, it's pretty simple. When the heart lunges, it launches 5 bursts of pellets in a fan formation. I typically fire my shots right before the heart lunges out, then move into the gap just above or below it to dodge bullets. The next attack, it's for you! A special delivery of Pippis is on its way. It's to break each Peepus before it reaches the battle box, otherwise it'll burst into a bunch of little spams which are practically undodgeable. A Peepus either takes 3 bullets or 1 charge shot to break. Unfortunately, Peepus bounces weird and are kinda hard to hit with bullets. Charge shots are much better for Peepus since they're bigger and can hit multiple Peepus with 1 shot. Just gotta learn how fast they move. Next, we find out that Spamton can turn his hands into phones. His head occasionally fires a ball that splits into 3 signals. Only the straight ahead signal is really a threat here. You can just kind of avoid that one, and the other 2 will mostly batter your way. His head is also slowly approaching though, threatening to trap us with his bulbous arms. Luckily, Spamton misses his television X and is fearing Bully Blue, so we can pelt him in the face to knock him back. Charge shots are great for this, because we don't want to go close to him, and each shot knocks him back a good deal. You shouldn't have to worry too much about aiming your shots, since big shots are big, and you can focus on dodging the phone signals. With that, we're already at the hardest attack, Spamton's eyes, nose, and mouth. The eyes fire laser at your position, the nose fires at the top, middle, and bottom, and the mouth blows upwards at you. If you deal much damage to a component, it'll explode and be gone forever. Every time one goes down, the remaining ones will start firing a bit quicker. Okay, pause for 1 second, because although what I just said is true, they do speed up when one is killed. They don't all do it in the same way. The eyes normally have 1.66 seconds between each laser, and once you break the nose or mouth, that immediately changes to 1.5 seconds. About 10% shorter, how you might expect it to work. The nose and mouth don't quite work that way, though. When you break the eyes or mouth, the nose stays at default speed, 2.13 seconds between each shot. However, the next time the face attack comes up, it'll be reduced to 1.8 seconds between each shot. It does not happen during the same attack at all. I don't know why. The mouth is even weirder. It doesn't speed up when you break one, instead speeds up the next time the attack comes around, the same as the nose, going from 2.73 seconds to 1.66 seconds between each blow. But for some reason, after the first 2 blows, the intervals increased back up to 2.06 seconds? I don't know, I have no worldly idea why this attack works like this. So, in what order should we kill them? Well, that depends on what you find the most problematic. I personally hate Spamton's eyes because they fire a laser to your position, while the nose is fixed and the mouth is random. The eyes also change drastically after the last one, being much, much harder. The nose also has a very difficult solo attack, so it's best to keep the mouth for last. That one's pretty easy. After this, Spamton shows us his heart-shaped object again. Classic Spamton. If you've been dealing tons of damage, you'll skip this attack entirely and move on to the third version of this attack, which we'll get to later. Heart Attack 2 is similar to before, but now it's a bit faster with its lunges. His bullet fans are also more erratic, being angled all strange. I don't really try to aim for this attack, just try to focus on finding gaps in the bullets. It's rough, but you should be able to do it. Come on, I taught you well enough. If you've been fighting optimally, the next attack should be Peepus 2, but if not, you'll be back to flying heads again. The big difference is that now Spamton's firing arm balls into the mix. He fires them directly at you, and they're very slow, so it doesn't really affect our strategy too much. Additionally, there will be heads that converge on the center every few volleys. For these, it's hard to spam them away quickly, so just be ready to dodge their pellets. Then you'll be back to eyes, nose, and mouth. Hopefully by now you've destroyed at least one, and it'll be a bit easier to dodge. If you keep firing well, you'll usually be able to take them all out here. On to Heart Attack 3. This time there's too many hearts, but it's slowed down from Heart Attack 2. Thank goodness. It's also back to being well aligned, except for those mini hearts, which always fire directly at you. So, gonna have to move every volley. Rough. Just stay back, take it slow, keep an eye on the bullets, and it should be okay. Keep firing those big shots, you big shot. You got this. The 11th attack for Optimal Mercy is the 8th attack for Optimal Fighting, Peepus 2. I'll just let this one speak for itself.
What? It's for me.
Spamton's final attack is where he becomes big. He starts by soaking up a bunch of Chromer and then spoops out 10 big Spamton blasts. This is probably one of the easy attacks in the fight. The Chromers are very slow and easy to dodge. You just have to watch your horizontal position to make sure you don't get sucked too far. And also make sure you're firing shots so this doesn't happen. That would suck. The big blasts are also very predictable. Just keep going between the edges of the battle blocks, then hug the left edge for the final blast. That should be the last attack you have to do before you strike Spamton down or snap his strings. Excellent work. But how excellent was the work of myself? My own work? Is it right to judge your own work? Clicky click. Just don't, choke. Miss the Susie.
Like 7 charge shots-ish. Oops. Keep accidentally shooting instead of charging. I think if you're at least like partially charged, it shoots 2 bullets instead of 1, which is interesting. Not useful. Okay. Don't get stumped out of the hand part on the chain. Yeah. What? For me? Would this kill? No. Yes. You can skip. You can skip the final attack on him too. Wait. The presses? Ah, Chris, you're depleting my 8,000 life points. Does he actually have 8,000 life points? That seems right-ish. Hold on. No, that's a reference to Yu-Gi-Oh! Means you won a free meal to winning. No! No! Neo! Chris, your deal has failed! Neo never loses. This is victory smoke. It means it's time for my second form. Are you ready, Chris, for my next trick? I will fill my body with electricity and become Spamton EX. Are you ready, kids? Stir the juice! Stir the juice! Make sure you don't get it on your shoes! Are you getting all this, Mike? I'm finally gonna be a big shot! Here I go! Watch me fly! Mala! Too much electricity. Oh no. Seems after all I can be anything more than a simple puppet. But you three, you're strong. With a power like that, maybe you three can break your own strings. Let me become your strength. Bling. You got Shadow Crystal. You got Puppet Scarf. Puppet Scarf. A scarf made of strange strings for those that abandon healing. Me! I don't need healing. He's got more attack than Susie does! He's got more attack than Susie does! Before we finish off Chapter 2, make sure to combine a big shot bow tie and the tension bit into the tension bow, which gives us 10% more TP. It is very worthwhile. With Chapter 3, we've got a bit of a unique problem. There's sort of 2 secret bosses. There's who you actually have to find and fight by getting to the S-Rank VIP room. Obviously, this seems like the secret boss of the chapter, but both Jevil and Spamton Neo have given us Shadow Crystal after we beat them, which does not. Well, who does give us a Shadow Crystal in this chapter? That would of course be the final fight of the chapter, the Roaring Knight. This boss is basically like a scripted loss normally, doing absurd damage, with some attacks downing, or swooning, party members in a single hit, unless you have the Shadow Mantle, which you get by defeating. Okay, so is the secret boss, but the Roaring Knight is the shadow boss. Okay, so is the secret boss, but the Roaring Knight is the shadow boss. So you're just gonna no-hit, right? No!
That'd be so lame. Could you imagine if I didn't try to no-hit the hardest boss? Obviously gonna do both. You think I'm a coward or something? That being said, I did want to see what would happen if I defeated the knight without getting the Shadow Mantle from... Because of this, I decided to no-hit on a separate file. Now, is a pretty special case. To address the elephant in the room, I'm calling them... Because we don't really know who they actually are. We don't even have a canon name, which has led to a shocking amount of argument online. Yep, all of these are potential names or identities I've seen used for the mantle creature. Actually, you know what, add that to the list too. Thus, to avoid any name discourse, I'll be referring to it exclusively as... If you care to learn about that whole deal, go watch like the Half-Bred Chaos video or something. I'm not much of a lorer. Regardless, to address the bigger elephant in the room, this isn't a normal battle. Our equipment doesn't help at all here. Instead, this battle plays out just like a top-down Zelda game, like Link's Awakening. We can move and poke with our sword, but that's it. We can't even hold run to slow down. It's also obviously not turn-based, so we're going to be needing to get in damage while dodging these attacks. This is going to be tough because we are completely stationary when we're attacking, so any misstab or accidental press could be the end of our attempt. Surely isn't that hard to hit, though. Yeah, so this thing flies around like a little bug, which is pretty annoying because there's walls. These stupid blocks get in the way constantly, so getting a feel for navigating them is just gonna have to be built up over time. Good thing the first attack doesn't require any positional awareness. Bomberman! The first attack has... throw out 3 bombs that explode in a cross pattern. Unlike Bomberman, the explosion goes through walls. Get into a safe spot quickly, and then once the bombs blow up, go get a stab or 2. Should do 2 rounds of bombs before switching to the next attack. The first attack could also be... fireballs. The battle is split into phases, and the first phase consists of these 2 attacks. It alternates between them, but the first one it does is random. Fireballs are the worst thing ever made. Oh my goodness, why can't I dodge them? In concept, it's really simple. Fires 6 fireballs at regular angles 4 times. All I have to do is stand in one of the gaps. The big issue is that this thing is constantly moving around, and it's actually so goddamn hard to predict where the fireballs are while still attacking and dodging. The only saving grace is that it moves in a consistent figure 8 pattern. If you stand on the opposite side of it, the fireballs are easier to dodge. After a blast, when it's close to the middle, you should cross over and get 1 hit in, and then keep dodging from there. Even still, since it's moving all the time, the fireballs are so hard to predict the angles and... I just don't know why it's so rough. Good thing it's at the start, so you don't have to deal with it that much. Once you get enough hits in, we'll shift into phase 2, which starts with flame charges. Just stay at the bottom of the arena and try to predict its trajectory. You should get a few hits in when it's close, but don't place super risky. After this, we'll spawn a bunch of friend-shaped cats that will chase after you. Absolutely do not attack while some of the friends are still alive. That will cause it to start attacking again. Friends only take 1 hit to kill, so the only real danger is at intersections or when you're being pincered by 2 at once. A lot of the time you can wait for them to come to you and just safely poke them. Just keep an eye on your surroundings so you don't get ganged up on. If you take too long to kill them, we'll move on to the next attack and the friends will despawn. So you want to kill them fast to get some damage in. They also just despawn sometimes for no reason. I don't know, man. This fight is quirky. Oh well. As soon as the last friend is down, spam as many attacks as you can on before the next attack starts. A neat trick to keep in mind is that your sword hitbox extends further up than any other direction, so you can actually hit friends through blocks when you're below them. This is why I stay near the bottom for most of the fight. The first attack of the next phase will be an upgraded version of attacks from phase 1. The cross bombs aren't that different, there's just 1 more than usual. Still not so bad. Fireballs 2, on the other hand, is much worse. Similar to before, but now it throws out bombs as well as fireballs. This time, absolutely play defensively. If it's really convenient, you can get a cheeky stab in, but just focus on the bullets and wait for another attack to cycle through. Once you finally deal enough damage, we'll move to the center and start spinning 3 beams of flame and occasionally fire a bomb. Rotate near the center so you can occasionally get a stab in while you know bombs aren't a problem. You should be able to get a good amount of damage before the finale attack, Flame Charge 2. This attack will go on until dies. It's just like Flame Charge 1. Stay at the bottom of the screen to make dodging easier. There's clones in the mix now as well, so make sure you only try to stab the dark one that comes with 3 charges. Keep going and you should be able to defeat this mystery man. Parentheses, androgynous. Throwing a bomb on top of my head. I didn't know they could do that. Oh no! Oh no! It was an accident! I'm sorry! Okay. Don't do fireballs. No fireballs! Candy. I need the candy. Oh no. Come on, we're almost to final phase. Final phase. Get in a few pot shots. Watch out for the bombs. And it's over. Okay, like an hour. It took like an hour. Okay, yeah, you're not the worst by any means. Flickering red like pretty little flames. Wow. The knife grows dull. Yeah, whatever. I beat you. Go away. I'm so short. Come here, Chris. No, I'm gonna go the other way so you're stuck in a walking position. Bye-bye. Shadow Mantle. Hey, Chris. What the hell are you doing? Hey. Chris is like, huh? Chris, what are you? What? Alright, I get it. Well, you really want to. Go ahead, I taste you shit food, you taste fire. Oh man, how am I the weird one here? Once I got past the freaking fireballs, it was just easy. Like, come on. It's just the fireballs that are the issue for me. I don't know. Finished with this. We need to get some equipment for the next fight. I buy a zipper 10 from the vending machine for Chris, while Susie keeps her devil's knife and Ralphie's pepper scarf. Now beginning chapter 3, we get access to my favorite armor, 500 lodestones. Lodestones increase our TP gain by 5% flat, stacking with the tension bow. We can get up to a total of plus 35% TP. With our rebuster cost reduced by Devil's Knife, by shooting our TP gain to the moon like this, we can ideally fire one off every single turn. It could be argued that we should boost using magic since we're shooting off so many busters, but nothing we have access to gives us more than one magic stat, so I don't see it as worth it. 2 more lodestones it is, baby! Since we got so much TP, you might be wondering why we're not using the twin ribbon. Well, since it was completely busted in chapter 2, they decided to nerf it when you enter chapter 3, actually decreasing the amount of TP you get by 25%. I decided not to use it because I thought the downside would be too big, but what does the data say? After an hour of testing, I found that all lodestones plus the bow is on par with, if not a little better than, replacing a stone with the twin ribbon. Despite this, I found that replacing one with the pink ribbon is actually better than my initial setup. I guess for some reason it just has a nice ratio of TP loss to graze increase. I don't know, but if I could go back in time, I would use the pink ribbon. Oh, also if you were curious, if you get at least S rank on board 1, you get another pink ribbon, and yes, the effects do stack. It's absurd to look at, but unfortunately not that good. Finally, dump all your points in the gacha machine to get the tension max, which gives us full TP when you use it. After all this time, we're here. The Roaring Knight is by far the hardest boss in the game so far. So hard that on my first playthrough, I thought it was a scripted 100% no way, no how loss. Despite that, I'm not sure it's the hardest to no-hit. A lot of its attacks are based around either high damage hits or dangerous zones that chip away at you if you're in the wrong place. Don't get me wrong, this boss is very difficult to no-hit. I just think something else might be a little worse. With this fight, we're actually back to our regular red soul movement. Yay! I love red. Unfortunately, this fight is long. The Knight is a special case once again. There is no way to defeat it through mercy, so the only thing we can do is optimize our damage. This fight is the main reason I got the offensive options from Jevil and Spamton. On the first turn, we have Chris use Attention Max, getting the most value out of the item and letting Susie instantly use a Rude Buster. Getting that extra damage is crucial, so we don't have to deal with some of the worst attacks in the fight. Oh, also, before we get into it, to get the most damage out of Rude Buster from now on, we need to press confirm right before it hits the enemy, not spam it like in the previous chapters. The first attack is unfortunately an annoying one. The Knight shoots at a barrage of these growing star things. Luckily, their hitboxes are pretty small, so they're pretty navigable. Since they grow as they move left, we want to move towards the right side as we weave through. After a little bit, the stars burst, firing 6 projectiles in the directions shown on each star. There should be a safe spot on the right side to avoid the star bits. Now this is where stuff gets rough. This attack is not the hardest to dodge, but it's kind of weird sometimes. Here, let's play a game. On which of these frames do I take damage? There are 2 correct answers. Think very hard about this, I believe in you. If you said these 2, you're wrong. If you said these 2, you're also wrong, because it was these 2. I have no idea why it's like this. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there's no hitbox visualizer, so I'm just as in the dark as you are. Okay, so literally in the middle of editing this, I opened Blue Sky to see this? Why is the Soul's hitbox a square only in Chapter 3? Maybe that's why it's weird? I don't know! On our second turn, we have an interesting decision to make. In this fight, Chris can use Hold Breath to increase the Soul's speed for the rest of the battle. Even though this seems useful, we spent the past 3 chapters getting used to the Soul's base speed, so altering it could throw us off. Next up is the psi things that follow you attack. This attack is probably the biggest issue with this fight, since it requires a lot of quick brain power to consistently dodge. A psi appears in one of 8 positions around the Soul. It'll turn slowly red until it fires, at which point you need to be moving in one of 6 directions to be safe. The rate at which these show up and fire will slowly increase until the attack ends, so you have to be processing the next psi while also trying to dodge the current one. The biggest trouble is that you need to be aware of your position in the battle box as well. If you're too close to the edge, you might end up trying to dodge through it, which is not something that could ever happen in this game. I recommend getting the rhythm of the psis down and learning to only move just before one fires. This will let you move less and you'll likely not get backed into a corner. A potential strategy if you're struggling with brain power is to just move back and forth on one line for most of the attack. With decent odds, about 75% of the psi will not be able to hit you as long as you're timing your movement properly. Once you see your line is in danger, move to a different one and keep following that one instead. This way you'll only have to pay attention to a couple of psi positions and can mostly focus on the timing. Overall, this attack can just be overwhelming at times, and I definitely lost a good few runs to it. With that said, we have the box cutter next. The Knight rends the battle box in 2, either vertically or horizontally, causing it to split and shoot at these shards. Some of the shards are slower than others, which we have to quickly recognize and weave through. And once you see what its orientation is, stay on the parallel edge to give yourself more room to dodge the shards. The axis that it splits on will stay consistent throughout the whole attack. Don't worry about moving on the opposite axis to weave between the shards, because they spread out more as time goes on. Just stay on the edge. The next attack happens around this point in the song, if you've been mentioning quickly. In Black Knife with Lyrics by Dankboy68, at this part of the song, they sing, "Now go my knife for it all." This is extremely important. The knife corridor is probably the hardest attack for a casual player, and it's not much different here. I find it much easier to go to the left side of the battle box right off the bat, giving me a bit more time to react to the corridor's attachments. Holding down movements for any period of time is likely to get us hit, so just carefully tap up and down, watching the right side of the screen to see what's coming, and using your peripheral vision to see approximately where your soul is. It's worth noting that if you're more used to dodging from the starting position, you might find that easier than going to the side like I do. Once the corridor finishes scrolling, the knives stop and shoot towards you. The biggest disadvantage of going to the left is that there's less space for us to dodge this part. However, it also means that you always have to move right, so you can just do that as soon as the corridor stops. You can only move about halfway across the box before the knives fire, so look for a big enough blank space within that distance. You should be able to trust the red lines for the hitboxes of the knives. The fifth attack is the turny red reticle slashes. The Knight centers a number of lines in the soul's position, rotating around for a moment until it slashes. The number of flashes in each reticle increases over the course of the attack in the order of 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. For a total of 6 reticles. Since they all cross in the soul's position when each line starts, we can easily manipulate how this attack works. I deal with this attack by making sharp diagonal movements every time it centers on me. We move faster diagonally, so we can increase our radius faster this way. By increasing the radius from the pole, we increase the circumference over the curve representing where the slashes wouldn't hit us. This makes it so the hitbox of each slash is much less likely to be a threat. If one does seem like it's going to hit us still, we can just make a small adjustments when we see it's getting close. Just repeat this until the attack ends. After that we got Starfinger 2, which is identical to the first version besides the fact that the star bits last a bit longer. The strategy is the same as before.
Box Cutter 2 is very similar to the original as well, with the change that the cut can switch between horizontal and vertical between each slash. This just means you've got to be able to adjust, and stick near the corners if you can. The attack itself isn't much harder, it's just the mental processing that's more complicated. Next is Night Corridor 2. It spins around us, so absolutely do not move left here. You're going to move to the right slowly, then around in a pattern that looks something like this. Well and truly, there's not much advice I can give for this attack. You just kind of have to learn the behavior of the spin and how that feels to dodge it. Here's a few more perfect dodges of the attack so you can learn what it looks like. Good luck. This one is the worst attack. If you deal enough damage, you won't have to face it, but it's just on the border where you have to consistently face it sometimes. It's the same as the first version of the Dark Side, except now there's a circle of them moving around the battle box. Just that one extra layer of complexity makes it so much worse. You have to try and pick the lines that will take you where the circle is headed. That's all there really is to it. There's just so much to focus on at once that it's incredibly rough. Good luck. Second round of red slashes is much nicer after that. It's basically the same as the first time, except that it starts with more, going in a pattern of 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Then at the very end we get an off-brand Gaster Blaster circle, stay close to the center so you can move faster than it. Then it's time for the final attack, the Star Vortex. Unlike Spamton and Jevil's finale attacks, it is absolutely unskippable. On the turn before it, when the night is glowing, you absolutely need to use Hold Breath. You will need the extra speed. I guarantee it. Once it starts, I typically move towards the bottom left, which should set us up nicely for a later part of the attack. The hitboxes of these stars are big, so do your best to steer fully clear of them. The hardest part of this attack is trying to see when the spiral starts. There's not really a good way to do it, so just keep your eyes peeled, I guess. As soon as it does, move to the center and follow the spiral. Don't worry about content damage, the knight has no hitbox. Once the spiral ends, quickly move back out. The stars move slower now. I usually end up braced against the left edge to dodge them. It is rough. After a while, they'll be sucked back in and explode in 6 directions. Stay away from the edges because there could be one just off screen. Then just stay away from the middle and Chris will cough.
Hate everything.
Fourth time's the charm, right? Surely, right?
I'm just fed up at this point, honestly. I just want to be done. Don't celebrate yet? I don't know if it's over. Okay, my gosh. It's done. Yes. Chris coughed, bro. The enemy slowly tilted his head. Okay. We actually beat it. What, don't tell me you had enough already. Come on, we're just getting started. Oh, yes. My gosh. Took long enough, bro. And I didn't even have the shadow metal. Have fun counting the attempts, me.
We're in the home stretch. Just one secret boss remains. Going through the chapter, we can get... Turns out there's actually no useful equipment for this fight. The Hammer of Justice, because cannot take damage. This makes boosting CC attack and magic completely pointless. And of course, boosting defense does nothing for us, so... What do we even want? Well, if you were paying attention to the last section, the answer should be obvious.
500 lodestones!
Plus a little tension bow on top. Even though Rude Buster does no damage, every time we use it, we get much closer to ending the fight, netting us a whopping 8 stars if we successfully do it. Oh, right, stars. The Hammer of Justice is once again a special case. There is no way to beat this guy up. We instead have to earn enough of these stars to end the battle. You earn stars by fighting, using Rude Buster, and using OK Heal. OK Heal gets 9 stars, while Rude Buster gets 8. However, with the Devil's Knife, Rude Buster only costs 40% TP, compared to OK Heal's 85 to 80% TP. This means Rude Buster is obviously the better option on no-hit, right? Well, not necessarily. Using Rude Buster also means the Hammer of Justice will Ganondorf Energy Tennis it back over to us, which can deal damage to us if we don't Ganondorf Energy Tennis it back. This damage does invalidate an attempt in my eyes, not to mention you get less stars if you fail. The first time, you have to hit it once. The second time, twice. All subsequent times, you have to hit it 3 times. Even though the window of success is pretty generous, the Buster speeds up with each hit, so it's not completely free. All in all, if you're doing a casual attempt, don't have Devil's Knife, or don't want to risk damage, use AK Heal. Our second special soul mode, he made us green. While green, we can't move, only able to block projectiles with Susie's axe. Every projectile we block gives us a half TP, unless we block it just before it hits us, which gives us a full TP, indicated by this sound. Obviously we want the extra TP, but risking getting hit for it isn't great. Luckily, if we're already shielding direction and we press that direction again, we can bump it with proper timing to get the bonus TP. Any TP gained in Green Soul mode is unmodifiable by armor, but we still want to wear our lodestones for the Red Soul parts. With that set out, let's get into the attacks. The first arrows start out slow, which can make them tough to bump properly, so I generally just... The subsequent arrows come quickly, setting up expectations for the rest of the battle. Since this is the first attack, this bumping rhythm will be permanently seared into your brain. While reading this out of the script, all I can hear is ting 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 ting. It's particularly painful to think about at this rate. Which brings us to the best and worst aspect of this fight. All of the Green Soul attacks are exactly the same every single time. This should make it easier to not get hit as we can directly practice the patterns, but my god, is it so boring after a while. This fight takes by far the longest to die and reset after getting hit, since he does less damage the lower Susie's health is. It is a grueling ordeal. The second attack is much the same, simple blocking, but not a lot to talk about. The next attack expands our box into an octagon, letting us block in 8 directions. The trouble with this is that, 1, it's more complicated, and 2, we can't bump on the diagonal. The axe doesn't linger on the corner when you let go, so it's a lot less safe than bumping normally. Unless you're playing on joystick, it can linger in that case. The solution I came up with for bumping diagonals is a bit strange. Say arrows are coming from the top left. If you hold up and feather left, it can feel similar to bumping. You shouldn't use it with every volley, but if you're confident with the attack, it can help you get more TP. This attack is very simple, so absolutely feather it. If you've been going fast, the next attack will happen at this point in the song. and you need to act like you're bumping the do-do-do-do. I don't make up the rules. Anyway, for this attack a big hammer is coming, but it's the thing you need to block last. The main thing with this attack is practicing these quick flip arounds. You have to fling your finger from one side of your movement to the other. It's not too challenging if you have the hang of blocking. Once you block the hammer, you'll turn red again, and need to quickly move left or right to dodge the hammer surprise. Next is the shell toss, a very tough one if you don't know what you're doing. The big gist is that the hammer justice repeatedly hits a shell at you, sometimes bouncing off the wall. Every single hit aims to intersect with your current position, whether bouncing or not. This allows us to manipulate it a bit and get a fairly consistent strategy for the start. I personally like to start at the top right. From there, you just have to identify whether he's doing a straight shot or a bounce shot. Since he always aims to hit, if it aims anywhere but the sole, it's going to bounce off the wall. Combine that with staying away from the side that he's on, and dodging this attack becomes second nature fairly quickly. Hammer toss is up next, and it's pretty rough. He rotates the battle box and then throws 16 waves of little hammers. Since we're rotated, we don't want to move vertically. Staying in the center gives us the most horizontal space to dodge the hammers. Just keep your eyes on the top to look for the openings. After this, he'll throw a barrage of big hammers. Strategy is the same as with the little ones, but they don't come in waves this time. He'll then throw down a massive hammer, but you just need to go to the corners. This attack is honestly one of the roughest because it's just completely random. Or is it? You see, I noticed something interesting during my attempts. I often make a very similar pattern to dodge the big hammers. Perhaps it could be that I simply always stick to the left side, or that it just happens to feel the same, but I was still suspicious, so I overlaid multiple attempts, and they were different. Or were they? You see, they look completely different over here, but by the time they get to me, they're practically identical. Is it caused by some sort of reverse entropy behavior? The convergent nature of our universe influencing the basic code of throwing hammers? Well, no. The hammers starting your line I believe to be intentional. The reason why they seem so different at the beginning is simply because the turtle's composition changes based on his random jumping during his little hammers. He naturally ends up in a different spot every single time, but the hammers themselves know their true path. I just do like a little wiggle on the left side. Up next we have Topsy Down Surprise. Who is naming these? It starts out with an alternation between the top 3 positions, then ends with a few at the bottom 3. I wouldn't bother trying to bump for this attack. The arrows are so fast that most of the time you're just gonna get the perfect anyway, so it's not very worth it. The next attack starts with these triplicate jacks. Nothing much to say about this one other than more finger flinging. Just after, we're introduced to the shells, which we hit, then hit again. These regular ones aren't so bad, but we get into the hard stuff later. For the next attack, we get some panic-inducing shells that are manageable, followed by these shell into arrow rotators. For some reason, I find it really hard to do these rotations 100% consistently, so maybe don't bother trying to perfect them. Just switch to the next position as soon as you hear the blocks on the current one. The bit after is fast finger flinging, so just make sure to ignore these arrows until the end. The next attack knocks us back into the red solo mode again, and we have to dodge these hammer dives. Unfortunately, I have actually no idea how these hitboxes work. Why are there no tools for this still? This game's been out for so long. Both the size and the timing of the hitbox seem really strange, but there's not really a way to know for sure. I just move back and forth to the rhythm and adjust if he goes for the center. The next attack is where these janky hitboxes continue to shine. Go to the right, the left, then stick in these gaps. The only real problem I have with this attack is moving slightly too early out of these little gaps, so my advice is just to wait a moment longer than you think you do. Next is Hammer Toss 2, which I'm pretty sure is actually just exactly the same as the first one. Do the same. The next attack introduces us to blue shells, which move 90 degrees when you bounce them. This means that if it started cardinal, it stays cardinal, and if it started diagonal, it stays diagonal. The second half of this attack is very hard to sight read, and will mostly just have to be learned over time. Just go left, up, right, up, down, up, left, down, right, down, left, left. From there, it's just quick arrows that require some fling fingers and quick reaction time. If you've been doing Rude Busters, you'll be on the final attack, but if not, you'll be on Blue Shell Juggle. Bounce the first shell, rotate through the bottom of the second shell, and then quickly hit the first shell into an up, down, right, down, up, and then you're to the triple blues. All you have to do is rotate around the octagon counterclockwise. The only tricky thing is that you need to hit 2 shells on both up and left, since they both started as cardinal directions. Then do the same thing for volley 2, but pause on up right and up left instead. It feels very natural once you know how it works. The final attack is a bit of a doozy, and it's hard to explain exactly how to parry it. During this attack in particular, the green shells act like blue shells as well, and the shells allow different speeds. Green is slowest, blue is middle, and red is fastest. Block blue up, then green left. Then go up right and rotate into the red shell on the right. Since the red one is so fast, you have to block it again right away at up. From there, the hierarchy goes the first blue, then the second blue, then red, which looks like a quick left, up, left, left. Then comes the green at down. Stay down to get to the red shell again, rotating into first blue at down left and snapping up into the green. Then quickly block the last blue at down into the red at the right. Finish off the shells at left, then get ready to dodge. Since the sequence is so complicated, I honestly just recommend repeatedly watching a no-hit of this attack, since the shells normally disappear when you miss. This next part is where the hammer dive hitbox really sucks. You really feel the lingering hitbox and it's hard to know what to even focus on. Also, the specific hitbox was changed somehow. In the patch notes for July 23rd, 2025, it says, fix an issue with the hitbox not working when a boss dives at you from many different directions. The hitbox will be adjusted more later. So it's been like a year since that, and they haven't adjusted it. Lovely times we're having, aren't they? The only semi-consistent way I found to dodge this attack was to start at the right side, then rotate just ahead of the light flashes, as if you couldn't touch them. Keep rotating at that same pace the whole time. You fall into the white flashes at some point, but it's fine because the actual attack comes after it. I know this strategy absolutely sucks, but it's the closest thing I could find to consistency with how weird the hitbox is. I'm genuinely just so lost most of the time during this attack, but you only have to make it past one time. Just once. And then you're done.
Why do I taste blood? That's weird. Quad! The quad! No! How rude.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. Remember earlier when I said it goes up to 3? The first time, you have to hit it once. The second time, twice. All subsequent times, you have to hit it 3 times. I actually lied. It goes up to 3 levels. But once you're on the 3rd level, it has a small chance to do 4 hits back. This is not mentioned anywhere on the wiki. I've not seen anyone else ever say this, but it happens. And it killed my run!
Bruh. What am I doing? I can't read Buster.
Quad. Yes! Yes! It's done. Gotcha. Alright, figured it out. You wanna see what I got then? Take this! Yeah. I did it. Yay. Took long enough. Gosh. How's that, old man? Yay. My heart's, it's racing. Wonder if I ever win. Yeah, me too. Perseverance. Each time you get a little better. That's all I wanted to see. I think I'm gonna be the toughest in your face. Next time, you'll be ready. Don't give up. Give him hell. Don't tell me that, old man. Yay! Not a scratch. Not a scratch on Susie. Let's go. Justice X. Good, very good damage.
To cap things off, I wanted to give my thoughts on every boss. Jevil is very fun, mostly fair, and a good difficulty while not being brutal. If you ever want to no-hit a boss for fun, Jevil is a blast. 7 out of 10 difficulty, 7 out of 10 enjoyment. Spamton was pretty fun, but definitely too easy for me. I spent such a little amount of time on it that I didn't even have time to develop my strategy for anything. I hadn't even really developed a good strength for the charge timing. 2 out of 10 difficulty, 6 out of 10 enjoyment. I was definitely not built for this kind of thing. Maybe it's just me that sucks at fireballs, but I just kind of find the whole experience frustrating. Cool conceptually, but not really for me. 6 out of 10 difficulty, 3 out of 10 enjoyment. The Roaring Knight is damn hard. Probably the hardest to no-hit in terms of skill by a long shot. Even so, I just really like the fight. I know some people find it too hard, and that's understandable. Maybe the game could use some accessibility options or stuff like that. That'd be nice. But I just adore this fight. Other than the janky hitboxes of star bits, the frustration of the spiral vortex of the final attack, and maybe Dark Side 2, I wouldn't really change anything about this fight if I could. 10 out of 10 difficulty, 7 out of 10 enjoyment. Hammer of Justice. I definitely spent the most time on this because I had several month-long hiatuses. All of the difficulty is in the mental. It's just so draining to do the same attacks over and over and over again just to lose your run to a stray hammer or a shell bounce you weren't focused on, or god forbid a dive hitbox. I think the fight itself is very, very good. It's one of my favorites to play casually, but it's pretty much the antithesis of what I like about this challenge. 6 out of 10 difficulty, 1 out of 10 enjoyment. With Chapter 5 very, very soon, I'm eager to put this video out, but I wanted to say a few things. First and foremost, no, I'm not better than anyone else because I did a no-hit. That's stupid. Please don't compare people's accomplishments. No. If you're proud of yourself because you finally beat Jevil or you're scraped by the knight, that's awesome. Keep being proud and keep at it. Secondly, just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. The fight is a great concept. The Hammer of Justice is new and inventive. I know some no-hitters in the past have gotten after Toby because some attacks aren't fair to the challenge. But I mean, that's just what it is, a challenge. The game isn't built around doing every attack perfectly. It's an RPG, there's healing for a damn reason. It just doesn't make sense to get mad at a creator just because they didn't curate their game to your self-imposed challenge. Anyway, rant over. Woo, Chapter 5, I love Floridan, so cute! There's a fairly decent chance that Chapter 5 Secret Boss will use another special soul mode. I'm personally betting on blue. So that might be a bit rough. Even so, I do plan to make a video like this on them eventually. Though I do want to do my casual playthrough first. Oh yeah, I have those. Casual playthroughs. I know they're very long, but they're fully edited. I'd appreciate it if you check them out. Toodles!
Hey guys, it's me, Device Friend.